These years will change you. It changed Ruben forever. His career died overnight, but we'll get to that later. But hey, if you're comfortable, congratulations. You made it, or at least you're about to. You spent years getting to this point, to live life how you want. You don't have struggles anymore. You can drown out the thoughts, the bad feelings, the heartbreak, everything. Your emotions are perfected. Your thoughts are relaxed. Nothing has to change, all because of the one thing in your life. For Ruben, it's drumming. But whether you're a painter, writer, scientist, actor, musician, it might be the only thing keeping you grounded. You're outrunning change. Wait, can you hear me? Oh, there we go. Notice how you couldn't control that? Eventually change will catch up, and this is how Ruben lost his hearing. Imagine you woke up and your ability to your livelihood is gone. Like, how do you think Ruben reacted? He panicked, of course. I mean, who wouldn't? Just look. I would be the same, if not worse. Just picture that. A painter who can't paint, writer who can't write, singer who lost their voice. It's scary. We'd be soulless. This actually happened to Ernest Hemingway. After years of physical and emotional trauma and an ineffective dose of electroshock therapy, he was left with the inability to write. This was the one thing he was good at. He experienced more loss than many people do in their lifetimes, near-death experiences, and a fascination with death. The one thing keeping him going, though, was writing. His novels. Then one morning, he couldn't write. This is what drove him to the edge. For some people, it's an escape from themselves, a way to find a road past change. In my opinion, Ruben was most certainly guilty of this. Throughout the film, it seemed his entire self-worth predicated on the band's success. There's also the fact that his band partner is his long-term girlfriend, Lou. So obviously, he wouldn't want to let her down. And he was scared to lose her and his hearing. And yeah, he also has a drug addiction. And the writers knew exactly what they were doing. But we'll come back to this. Ruben is obviously desperate for solutions, whatever it takes. But Lou forces him to a deaf recovery community. And he finally meets the leader, Joe. And he gives him many things to do, like helping around the house, learning sign language, etc. But two really important requests were asking him to sit down and to help at a school. And as you can guess, he wasn't able to just sit. He had trouble, and he was supposed to write with a notebook, but he couldn't. And honestly, I have the same issue, especially now. I think we all kind of do because of technology, but I can't sit with myself. I need to be doing something or have something going on in the background. This isn't just his issue. Do me a favor. Think about the last time you just sat somewhere. No technology, distraction, or goals to work towards. Do you even have an answer? Because I don't. We all run from ourselves and who we're afraid to be. Well, most of us anyway. Change is scary. But change opens up new doors, new ways to live. When Ruben went to the elementary school, he realized he was an inspiration for others, especially the children. Of course, it'd be great if he could do this and keep his hearing, but a major theme of the film is how you have to make the best with what's out of your control. Ruben overcame this, his hardships, and learned to not let it define him. Unfortunately though, progress isn't linear. Even though he became an integral part to his new community, he just can't let his old life go. And I can't blame him. That's what he was made to do. Now he's here. He even sold his RV that him and Lou lived in to afford his surgery, which he thinks will get him back to normal hearing. This is a big bet, almost irresponsible. That's where they lived. I mean, I get it. I would probably do the same. But Joe made it a point to teach that being deaf is not a hindrance. It's not something to fix. Clearly, Ruben didn't take it to heart, completely missing the lessons Joe tried to teach. And he even asked for money on the way out. He is an addict. And this is really interesting because throughout the whole film, I never believed he would relapse on any substance. And it's just extra sad because if we were in this situation, we would probably act the same or worse. Like, how many of us would just accept it? For those of you who saw the movie, this is where Ruben gets kicked out of the house. But he's fixing his problem. The surgery is going to restore his hearing. He can resume his life the way it was before the change. The procedure went well too, and just a few weeks before activation, he went back, excited, ready to get to drumming. And as he heard for the first time, the world was ready for the taking. Wait, hold on. Let me just recalibrate. The world was, well, it didn't go as planned. He can hear, but not like before. He couldn't fully reverse it. The surgery, according to my knowledge, doesn't just fully restore hearing. It's an adjustment, a major adjustment. All the time he spent focusing on returning to normal before his hearing loss, all the struggle, pain, resistance, anger, just for his only chance to be disappointing. You can tell this isn't what he thought, and he struggles with it. Technically, he got what he wanted, but it wasn't good enough. He still has a small void left. What else is there? Yeah, it's disappointing, but the surgery still worked. On the bright side though, he was able to see his girlfriend again after visiting her in Paris, but it all feels so off. I mean, he got what he wanted. He got his hearing, he's back with his girlfriend, and they could be ready to tour again, but he just doesn't seem to fit in with her and her family. Like a painting in the wrong room. This is a very popular story arc in film, and it happens to be my favorite, when a character gets what they wanted but not what they needed. Ruben is the perfect example. He went through hell and back to get to this point in the story, and here we are, conflicted. We've all been there. Maybe not to this extreme, but how many times have you changed something or someone just to realize it's not what you thought? I bet it's many times. But the interesting part, we all, including Ruben, have had to go through something like this. A lot of times I tend to focus on building success for myself in school or work or whatever, but you can't forget about relationships in your life or whatever values you have outside. Running from internal change for external things will keep you where you started. It's only in the last few minutes of Sound of Metal where Ruben finally realizes all the lessons he's been missing. Personally, I think it clicked when he heard Lou play the piano at the party. It was so different from the music they played before, and I think he realized how much they both changed from the beginning of the ordeal. That, combined with the fact that his surgery didn't go as planned, he knew it was time to accept the change. In the final scenes, he takes a walk without Lou early in the morning, takes off his hearing device, and finally sits. This is significant. He is no longer running from himself. As much of a tragedy as it was to lose his hearing as a drummer, he can finally be at peace. Change is unavoidable. It's inevitable. We can't control it. Sometimes it just happens. The best we can do is accept it. Just like Ruben.